Hey there, ladies and gentle boys, Spazzy Dragon here, aka Syndromes, and look at this! It's actually Discovery Freelancer. Alright, so, just a note, I am slightly tipsy, on the edge of being drunk, and I still have quite a bit to go. So, there was a recent comment on my channel regarding, the possibility of a Discovery Freelancer episode that made me remember of a certain Discord message that I received about 2 months ago. Now, the source of this message is actually someone I do know and consider a friend, and they still play Discovery Freelancers, and as far as I know, they don't they don't have any problems with the mod. They aren't malcontent or something like that. But basically what they said is, Spazzy, if you don't want to continue the Let's Play, why don't you do a sort of challenge? Show off the quote, and I'm trying to, quote as accurately as possible here, the general state of roleplay, the health of the roleplay server by recording the first, 20 or so encounters with players without any edits or whatever. And the thing is, the reason why I mentioned about, them not being malicious or wanting to, screw with disco is that if by any means or any reason I ever wanted to portray disco in a bad light, doing something like that under the guise of, quote, showing off the roleplay, situation on the server by just straight up encountering 20 people and judging the roleplay encounters by that, yeah, that would be probably the way that I would, do it. Now the thing is, one of the biggest issues that I've had with the Let's Play itself is that, honestly, I can't tell what our prime time is. Because right now it is, and let's be fair, it's a little bit late for me. It's like 1 in the morning for me. And so there's only 40 people online. But the thing is, that in by itself, these days, is still a high number as far as I can tell. So, why do I have crew and civilian pilots on this thing? Let's fix that real quick. But yeah, I was asked whether or not there's going to be a Discovery Freelancer episode at some point. And the thing is, yes, I'm thinking about, potential ways on how to do that. But if I'm completely honest with you, I really don't know. The problem is, there's just not enough people anymore. I would like to do episodes where my character is not, distinguished. It's kind of the sense of anonymity, if you want to, describe it as that sort of thing. But I'm afraid it just does not work that way anymore. There's just not enough people in Freelancer, in Discovery Freelancer, that I could say, well, I mean, it's not even that. It's just that I don't want to recognize people that I roleplay with. And it's hard not to. The only people who are left on the server are diehard Freelancer roleplay fans, and many of them I dislike. The others I don't care about. And the whole notion of Discovery Freelancer roleplay to me these days is... I know that this might not be the case, but it is how it feels. It kinda is like roleplay for the sake of some sort of predestined goal that people just want to get, right? They don't roleplay for the sake of roleplay, but rather that they just want, some sort of specific goal to happen. Like, they want a new base or a new ship or whatever, right? I barely remember the controls. But yeah, that is my main goal. That's my main problem with Disco. Everyone's... The roleplay on Disco just seems way too... I don't even know. I can't even explain to you, and I realize that's probably because of my, you know, currently ingested alcohol amount. But at the same time, I remember better days where every single time where I would contribute to roleplay, be it on the forums or something like that, I wouldn't ask myself, oh, does this roleplay serve me in any tangible way? Or does this roleplay give someone else an edge over me? It's stupid. It doesn't feel right. Ooh, black market transport. So, I don't even remember what my, okay, it was a minus sign. So yeah, that's my main problem with Disco. So, for those of you who don't know, there was, in fact, a fairly recent attempt to continue the Let's Play. I encountered 2 people, and it was not a good encounter. Well, so much for that. Two traders going through. That was my... So here's the thing. I wouldn't really care that much, if not for things like this. Hellstar. Who the fuck are you? Oh, I'm not a human. Oh, Jesus Christ, give me a break. The thing is, you're asking me to encounter the first 20 people and judge my roleplay encounters from that. What am I supposed to say about something whose entire roleplay shtick revolves around telling people that he's not human? Okay, the fuck are you then? The stupid thing is, this has been my experience. This has been my experience for 2 separate attempts to continue the Let's Play. The one that I started whatever months ago. Like, this is the quality of roleplay that I have to work with. What's the point? It's just kinda sad. I get it that everyone wants to be unique, but if that is really the extent of what you're capable of as a writer, because that's what you are. If you are a participant of a roleplay server, you are a writer. And if that's all to be expected of you, then I really just feel bad about the server. A character can be unique in so many ways. And a freaking Tsunadra who thinks he's not a human. The worst part is, I spent like 2 in-game hours just flying this around. Liberty Bretonnium, Rhineland Kasari, and that's it. And I was trying to find at least some kind of roleplay encounter that I could display in that Let's Play video without any problems. Yes, maybe I was just having a bad day. Maybe I was just not getting the encounters that I wanted. I think of myself as a experienced enough roleplayer where I can roleplay around any sort of oddities that a player might, put my way. I can figure it out, I can adapt, but it has to have some sort of effort into it. I think it really comes down to the fact that I can't play for hours on end anymore. And it feels like that every single minute wasted, in my opinion, wasted flying around, not doing anything, is a detriment. I know for a fact that it's not the same for other people, especially for younger people who are still at school, for example, because it sure as hell wasn't for me. I spent hours per day logged into Disco. The one thing that has changed over that time was my own sense of how much my free time is worth to me. And it just happens to, be a part of having a job. Where you actually go, oh, I'm looking forward to the weekend because I don't want to do anything. And then you kind of realize that the weekend is actually, as it turns out, a finite number. I was really, really hoping that I wouldn't need to say something like, oh, I grew out of Disco. But that kind of feels like it. It has nothing to do with my, preference for roleplay. I don't find it silly. It's just that it requires a different kind of person who is not bound to free time. And I'm pretty sure it's just not just me. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people. As you can tell by the dwindling population of not just Disco, many games. There was this one meme. It's actually kind of stupid. There was just one meme of a newspaper article saying, child addicted to video games spends up to 3 hours per day in a PC. And you know what? I realized that I have changed when I looked at it and I thought to myself, yeah, 3 hours at a PC? Yeah, that's probably too much. That's the worst part about it, because I know for a fact that I spent so much more when I was a kid. So yeah, in this episode, I'm just going to fly around one lap around Sirius for a good time's sake. Do I actually think that I'm going to encounter anyone with 40 people online? No, of course not. But that was the problem that I was encountering with my Let's Play. Like, when I finally found a more or less good encounter, it was an hour in, and I was literally on the opposite side of the freaking galaxy. I stopped recording and decided to kind of skip that whole fiasco because I was worried that this might put Disco in a wrong light. Like, did you really not encounter anyone that you had to wait for like an hour? And the thing is, please don't misunderstand me. I really regret that I can't really do videos about Disco anymore. But the problem is, like, I have started to play this thing so infrequently that every single time I get into the game, I expect something from the past. Like the past Disco. And every single time I'm left disappointed, because that's, you know, obviously not the Disco that we are currently running with. Is that an excuse? Probably not. It's still kind of sad, though. So going back to that one suggestion about a dare, well, not so much a dare, but a challenge, like, hey, record 20 encounters! So, I've been recording for 25 minutes now. I have had a roleplay encounter that can be called a roleplay encounter with a whole of 2 people. Yes, I do realize that this is not prime time. But, come on, I am flying through. Like, I'm doing a circle through all of the houses. Including the, you know, the core house space. Surely this should give me some sort of, you know, some sort of encounter. But apparently not. So the story blurb said something about a Rhineland Civil War. So, I wonder what that is about. I keep scanning the player list as if that is going to change anything. Probably not. I'm sorry about being so negative. It's just that this is exactly what happened. This is exactly the problem that I had during the Let's Play. I was trying to find some sort of interesting encounters, so it wasn't just... Okay, so remember how I used to make my Let's Plays? I would kind of make them into a Let's Play slash a tutorial. The tutorial part, even back then, in 2015, it was a crutch. It was there out of necessity, because I couldn't find good gameplay. Or at least gameplay that I really wanted to, you know, feature in a episode. Oh, so Dortmund is now a wreck. Interesting. Rumor Station was the primary processing facility for ALG. Rip Karst. Pollutants causing a hazard to nearby traffic. I didn't see any hazard. You'd think they would at least make like a toxic cloud around it or something. Yeah, I realize that I'm not going to Kasari, so this is not really a lap around Disco, but I'm sorry, there is no one in Kasari, because there's never anyone in Kasari. You made a whole house subject to a house that has been tacked on, and that's speaking very kindly about Galley in general, has been tacked on to the lore, and then expect people to kind of play it? The whole house revolves around honor, pride, and politics. I'll tell you one thing though, I have really missed the music. If it wasn't for the fact that I've played Freelancer so long, and Freelancer does remain the longest game that have played at all time, it would be clearly one of the games that I would, whose soundtracks I would just play on YouTube while I work. Who is this? Who are you? Bounty hunters? Not interested. Design looks cool though. It's kind of sad. Every single vanilla base, well, not vanilla, but, you know, old disco base, I could tell you some sort of interesting story about it that has happened to me over the years in disco. But at that point, it would be just a bitter vet reminiscing of something that he thinks is a good old days. But at the same time, like, we have how many? Like 40 people right now that is not prime time. They don't care about it. They like the game. They don't care. Rather, they don't care that you don't care. That is to imply that I don't care about disco. I wouldn't be able to tell you if I was asked that, really. The Liberty theme, like the regular flying theme, sparks some sort of emotion. Like, I remember things. Amazing things. Things that I would be, like, I would be coming home from school just eager to get on disco. Well, that guy is still in New York. The Artery Terminator. What a fucking name. Hey, you know that super secret base that we have? Yeah, let's call my ship after that. That's really the hardest part about role-playing Freelancer. If you are experienced enough in terms of lore, it's really hard to just not look at all these characters and just not judge the frick out of them. Well, Spazzy has run out of beer. Just in time, I guess. Almost time to just fly through that blockade that they were having that back there. So yeah, the recording is at 40 minutes in. This was my 2 attempts last time. This was like the exact problem that I encountered back then. I spent 2 consecutive days just flying around trying to find activity. For what? And yes, I did try different times. Oh, let's go get stopped by that lane hacker. Mission Grapes. They're not at the lanes. They're probably fighting in the field or something. If I had a better scanner, I would probably see them. Oh. That's the dude that just killed the dude. Yeah. Just had to say that that's one of the things I really don't miss about disco. Like, every single time you would find some sort of interesting non-fighter ship combo, it would just get immediately nerfed into the ground. Because we cannot have non-fighter combat in disco. Oh, gee wilkers, no. We can have trade systems that allows you to get, like, billions of credits so that you can get the big ship, though, but God forbid if we ever actually make a thing for it. Yeah, they're fighting. And so much for that encounter. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I realize this negativity is partly due to the fact that alcohol acts as a very serious depressant on me, and I can't keep smiling while I record these videos and you know, intoxicated. But this is, like, this is the reason why you're not getting any freelancer content. There's just nothing to give you. That's the hard truth. It's still amazing that it's, like, 2020 when I'm starting to encounter this problem. There was once a game called... oh, Jesus Christ, what was it called? Savage. And I did reinstall it, like, a year ago. And the most active server was a dual server with, like... duel server with, like, 3 people on it. That's kind of what I think disco is going to evolve in at some point. Just pre-agreed upon events when people log into the server to get it above 50. And everything else just goes to the forums. Sad. Sad is the only word that I have for this. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.